Ways in which we speak to ourselves, the beliefs that we have, are probably our most powerful instrument. I'm already getting caught up in saying the right thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just let the words flow. My physical mind is not here to figure out when things will happen. That's not what the physical mind is here for. The physical mind is here for the present and now. That's all the physical mind can do. Any type of future projections and thinking about the past, that's not what the future mind is meant. Sorry, that's not what the physical mind is meant for. That's why it causes depression and anxiety and all these other negative gunk we don't want. Be my guide. I open myself as a channel to your power, to your words, to your wisdom. Dear God, please bless the minds, bless the spirit, bless the finances, bless the thoughts, bless the beliefs, bless the choices that I make, and all those who are willing, and to all those who find themselves coming into contact with me. Dear God, I thank you for their presence. I thank you for their love. I thank you for their existence. Dear God, I pray for them. I pray for their families. I pray for their friends. I pray that they may allow themselves and grant themselves permission to be exactly as you called them to be. Dear God, please allow me to grant myself permission to be exactly who you called me to be. Dear God, we thank you. I return home. I call my spirit, I call my energy back to me. Dear God, my vision is your vision. I align myself with your spirit, with your wisdom, with your love. Dear God, there is nothing that you cannot make happen. Through you, anything is possible. And I'm grateful for you, dear Mother, dear Father, dear Spirit, dear angels, dear guides. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for every single blessing that has showed up for me and will continue to show up for me. It is already aligning itself for me and for those who are present with me watching this video. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Hello, thank you so much for choosing to spend your time and your energy by clicking on this video. I truly do believe that you were meant to be here. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm really excited to be sitting down here and really honored to just have the space to reflect and to honor what is. I definitely feel like I'm in a moment that I really want to tap into channeled messages and guidance that I've been receiving lately. However, I do have some talking points that I want to get through. I don't know how off script I'm about to go. Not that I have a script, it's literally just like bullet points. And what I have written down are just 5 realizations that I want to implement. As I'm doing that, I'll be creating my vision board. So the first realization I have for 2025 is I get to choose the meaning. I get to choose the meaning for all of this. Astrophysicists, philosophers, psychologists, scientists, the furthest we've gotten in terms of what is going on here is that the brain is interpreting and experiencing and attaching meanings to things, interpreting things at all times. Anything sensory, whether it's visual, auditory, tactile, olfactory, we are creating this life as it unfolds in front of us. With that being said, everything that's happening is a reflection of what's going on internally. And I'm sure you've heard that before, that the world around us is a mirror, or that life really just does reflect what's going on internally. But to really, really lock that in, literally, like in a literal sense, if you're looking in front of a mirror and you want the reflection to smile, you're not gonna go up to the reflection and try to go like this to the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna do what instead? You're gonna smile, and the reflection will smile back at you. It's the same thing as, oh, I want to be happier. I want more money. I want, the love of my life. I want X, Y, Z. No matter what it is, you have to cultivate that within yourself first. You have to lean into that feeling and bring about that feeling within you to be able to really see it and experience it fully in the material world. Is the only reason why we even want to experience it in the material world is so we can feel it ourselves anyways, which is something that we're capable of. You can, like, the mind is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful and powerful thing. And ways in which we speak to ourselves, the beliefs that we have, are probably our most powerful instrument. um, and I can make tons of videos just on like core beliefs and how to alter them and how to change them and like what they are and why they perpetuate themselves, especially the negative ones. But for now, I'll just leave it at our beliefs dictate the way in which we perceive the world. And not only that, but it dictates the experiences that we're having and the things that show up for us. They're based on our beliefs and the way that we think. To bring that further, the waiting period that we all get stuck in terms of just like, oh, I'm waiting for this to happen. I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. Like, why hasn't this happened yet? Da 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 da. All those things. Getting stuck in the space time continuum when divine timing, higher intelligence, all is already happening. So being able to tap into that and realizing that the thing that you are wanting, it's not like it's not there. It's not like it doesn't exist. It already does exist. You already do have it. That's why the desire is there. You already have it. You just have to remember what that feeling is so it can show up for you physically in the material world. Because nothing's going to show up, nothing's going to reflect back at you if you're not showing up for it already. It's the same thing. The mirror's not going to smile if you're not smiling first. Yeah, this incense holder is not shaped well, so I always get nervous it's going to spill. Okay, I got it. um, the world is our reflection. The world is our reflection. The world is our reflection. So if you believe that you're not good enough, or you believe that your value, like, it's the baseline is your self value and your self worth and your self acceptance, which like is so cliche, but I feel like people don't really, really, really digest that. And like they surface level think like, okay, I just love myself, but like, are you treating yourself like you love yourself? Are you speaking to yourself like you love yourself? And when you're not, are you catching it and addressing it and then pivoting? It's a matter of reframing over and over and over again. So yeah, finding the meaning when bad, quote unquote, bad things happen, which again, the creator has no accidents. Everything that's happening around you is something that you have manifested, either consciously or unconsciously. You're always manifesting. When something happens, you in some way thought that you needed that. You thought that you needed that for whatever reason. So it's really up to you to choose the meaning. And this has been really, really powerful for me. I remember in Euphoria, um, Rue has that moment in the second season where she said like when her dad passed, she always used to hate when people would say, he had to have died for a reason. He had to have died for a reason. It must have been for a reason. That. She would hate that, especially like as a kid, hearing that your dad had to die and like obviously X Y Z things has happened since her dad passed. It's like this will feel good to hear that. But her realization was like, okay, maybe what they meant is that I have to give it meaning. Maybe I am the one who has to give it meaning. And that's gold right there. That's nothing has ever been more true. You really do have to give it meaning, and our the power in our words is unfathomable. And then it's the same with our beliefs. So if you're out here going, oh, 2025 is going to be a curse year, these next 4 years are going to be cursed, all these things are going to be so bad, guess what's going to happen? Guess what is going to happen? I'm talking about for you, like build your own experience, build your own life. Get outside, get off your phone, and actually build your own life and experience it as you choose to experience it. Because there's always going to be chaos and havoc. That shit is, it just feeds off each other. But what you can actually cultivate and experience yourself is peace and ease and joy and passion and excitement and the acceptance and the peace. I'll say peace again, of knowing that it will all work out, that it all is working out. Not only that it will work out, but it is working out. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. Feel your pain. The pain is great. Our emotions are our guides. But knowing that even with the pain, you're still okay. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel sorrow. It's okay to feel grief. It means that you're alive. It means that you're here. It means that you're present. And it means that you're aware. And that's great. But you have to be able to move through the feelings. Allow the feelings to move through you. Don't let them control you. Don't let them dictate who you are. Because you're always valuable. You're always worthy. You're always precious. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't exist. You would have never existed. Every single thing that has ever existed and has ever created was created for a reason. But free will is always a thing. People always make their own choices and make their own. Not saying that everything that has happened was God's will. No, because free will exists. That's why we were created. That's why we decided to separate from God, from higher intelligence, so we could experience our own. But the ways in which we choose to experience is up to us. So yeah, moments of peace will find you if you let it. If you let it, moments of peace will find you. Allow it to find you. If you don't, then it won't find you. It really is that simple. Life is very complex and nuanced, and there's so much happening at once, and da 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 da, all these things. But at the same time, creation is very, very simple. It's very simple because of how intelligent we are and powerful we are as humans. We have the power to complicate it as much as we want to. As much as we want to. So you get to choose how complicated you want your life to be. Me, I'm just trying to mind my peace, mind my business, follow my excitement, follow my passion, um, do what makes me feel free and whole and complete and the most authentic, the most me. We're creators at our core, experiment. This life is meant to be experienced. Why we came down here to experience, because we were bored up there. I don't look at it as anything but choices and perception when I think about reality. Reality is nothing but choices. Thank you, Umi. This is so crazy because this looks like Ashley, one of the many creative spirits and artists that I've come into contact with recently, um, who is currently in contact with an architect who is building like this wellness holistic retreat that she's been dreaming of for years. And she showed me the designs and like we've been talking. She invited me over to what is made so far. So far it has like 5 bedrooms, but she wants it to have like over 15, I think 10 to 15. So she's expanding it. So she's already invited me to come check out the place in Clarksville. Um, and this looks exactly like it. Obviously, I picked these before I even met her. So that's already coming into fruition, which makes me so happy and grateful. So, realization number 2, pour from the overflow. Pour from the overflow. I am a very sensitive spirit. One thing about me, got my first degree, my bachelor's degree in psychology. Then I got my second degree in clinical psychology, and then I got a third degree in integrative medicine and health sciences. I can talk more about that eventually if I feel like making another video, if you guys want to hear about more about that journey and my pivoting. because I switched majors like 5 times in undergrad. But I thought at one point I was going to go down the counseling, being a therapist route. Quickly realized I'm not built for that. Simply not built for that. But I love learning about the human psyche. Obviously, I'm a deep thinker. I'm very introspective. So like psychology still is something that I'm really passionate about, but more on the research side when it comes to healthcare, holistic healing, mindfulness, all that stuff. Um, so I'm doing clinical research, medical research right now with nutrition, and we're looking at a nutritional supplement to help with chronic pain in knee surgery patients. So I am still kind of in the path of like trying to progress humanity forward, or honestly bring us back to our roots, to our nature. That's also what I was really vouching for in psychology. I am a very sensitive spirit. I'm a very tender soul, and I've learned to embrace that. Um, it was a problem, definitely a problem for me, for my upbringing. And I think coming from an immigrant household, immigrant parents, who of course did the best they could with the tools that they had, that tender spirit was not really nurtured in the way that it could have been. So now I'm parenting myself and nurturing my inner child the way that she wished to. And the biggest thing for me, one of the biggest things for me that I am subscribing to and I am being disciplined with myself about and setting firm boundaries on is pouring from the overflow. When I don't feel like I'm like this is like oozing out of me, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it unless I literally and like physically have to force my. Because sometimes like it is important to follow the plan and listen to your discipline rather than like your feeling, or like sometimes you really just need to cut through motivation, like not wait for motivation and just do it when it comes to physical or spiritual or mental or emotional self-care. um but if it's not that, if it, especially if it's for other people, actually anytime, no, anytime it's for other people, yeah. Pour from the overflow. Pour from the overflow. If it doesn't have to do with me, I am going to pour from the overflow, or I'm not going to do it. I need to take care of me first, just like how everyone else needs to take care of them first. That's what I'm responsible for, and I'm going to be so much more. Ooh, I'm going to be so much more capable of giving my best and of showing up in my highest form if I'm pouring from the overflow. When it doesn't feel draining and instead it feels life giving. Lava, one of my favorite artists, rappers, she opened for Umi actually on tour, and she's going on tour, and I really, 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 I don't have a ticket yet, but I'm gonna be there. I'm really hoping that's what's aligned for me to be there. Um, but if not, I'm sure I'll catch her in the next one. I feel so inspired by her and Free Soul. Um, but she has this song called Aura on her new album, Prayers in the Mirror. If you're here watching this video, you need to listen to that album if you haven't heard it, for sure. Like, for sure. If you are sitting here somehow enjoying this video in any way or form, you would love that album. I know you would. So check out that album, Prayers in the Mirror by Lava, if you haven't. And she has this song called Aura, one of my favorites on the album. And the outro is so sick. She goes, fill your cup up, don't stop. Ain't only pour from the overflow on the top. Yeah, yeah. I love that bar. And she repeats it. Fill your cup up, don't stop. Only pour from the overflow on the top. Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. Then Doechii. We're talking about Grammy winning Doechii now. We're talking about the first dark skinned black woman to win Best Rap Album at the Grammys. Doechii. Miss Doechii, two I's, double I. Miss Doechii. EOE, you notice me. Don't play. But I love Doechii, and her speech last night was beautiful. Man, I'm so grateful that she won Best Rap. So fucking deserved. Off a mixtape. Off a mixtape. The third woman ever to win that category. As a woman don't rap. Anyway, she has a line that says, "I love the way my ideas flow when I'm not scared." I don't know which song that's from. Off of Alligators. I couldn't tell you what song it's from. Maybe by the time I'm editing it, I'll be able to insert it. But she also has a bar that's in relation to this, um, which is like, choose the path of least resistance. If we're talking about choosing our experience, you get to choose the path of least resistance. Well, that's what I'm choosing. Y'all can do what you want. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do, obviously. I'm just going to share my experience, and those who resonate can do with it what they will. I'm going to choose the path of least resistance. I've had too many people, ancestors of mine, um, family, loved ones, friends, even, like, who have, I've seen them, I've seen that the way that they've suffered, or I've felt the way that they've suffered, and the things that they've given me or provided me, the love that they've shown me, I'm using that as fuel to give myself permission to choose the path of least resistance. It doesn't mean I'm not going to work hard, but I'm just not going to work against the current. I'm going to flow with the current. I'm going to flow with the current of life. That's what I'm doing. And on top of that, I'm a projector. If you're into human design, you know what that is. If you don't know what human design is, and you're into any type of like personality things, like astrology, anagrams, MBTI, if you're into that sort of stuff at all, human design is by far my favorite one because I think it uses the most like science driven data. And I feel like it's the most like pinpoint accurate. And the things that I've read about being a 2-4 projector has been some of them, actually, yeah, the most accurate things I've ever read about myself in my life. And I can't even read and explain to you the whole chart. Ow. Wow, I really just burned through my skin. That's cute. Let's see. What else? I also have a Bible verse written down here. If religion is tough for you, you're still very much welcome on this channel. Or if you have a different religion, if you're not Christian, the church that I attend is Episcopalian, but I really just call myself a believer. I call myself spiritual. I do call myself Christian. I'm the most familiar with the word of the Bible of all religious texts, but I'm open-minded as heck. And you're very much welcome here, regardless of what you subscribe to. But for those who are Christian and for those who are open to hearing other texts, or just in general, I do have a Bible verse written down here that I want to share that must be in relation to what I'm talking about. It's 2 Corinthians, verse 9, line 10 through 15. It reads, God desires to enrich us so that we can overflow in generosity. When we give freely in Jesus' name, the thankfulness of its recipients is given to God. I love you. I love that. God desires to enrich us. So desires, think about that. God desires to enrich us. The universe, spirit, the Most High desires, like desires, think about that word, like so deeply not even just wants, but like desires to enrich us so that we can overflow in generosity. Overflow, not giving when we're half cup, 25%, even 75%, overflow in generosity, giving to other people, right? When we give freely in Jesus' name, in the name of the Holy Spirit, in the name of the Most High, the thankfulness of its recipients, who we give to, is given to God. And we are God. We are the Most High. We are connected. We are all that is. So it recycles itself. It's all a cycle. It's all the circle of life. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So pour from the overflow. That's what God desires. God doesn't want you to be drained. God doesn't want you to be exhausted. God wants you to pour from the overflow. And then on the note of its recipients is given back to God, again, something that I need to remind myself of constantly is that it's okay to receive. When I'm on the receiving end of love or care, um, it can really be tough for me sometimes to be open and receptive. And again, that's something that I've been working on. Um, and it's, tied to the beliefs of deservingness and worthiness and how long things will last for me, which again, doesn't matter. It's not up to me. It's up to the Most High. It's up to the Divine. My physical mind is not here to figure out when things will happen. That's not what the physical mind is here for. The physical mind is here for the present and now. That's all the physical mind can do. Any type of future projections and thinking about the past, that's not what the future mind is meant. Sorry, that's not what the physical mind is meant for. That's why it causes depression and anxiety and all these other negative gunk we don't want. You're forcing the physical mind to do something it doesn't want to do. I need to be open to receiving. I need to allow myself to receive because that's what I'm meant to do. I can't just be giving, giving, giving. I need to also be receiving, and not be um, caught up in whatever I get caught up about when I am receiving. Just allowing myself to be present in receiving and not just like instantly think of whatever else could go wrong or any type of deflecting that I automatically resort to. So shout out to the people in my life that like stand on that and like really are firm with me on making sure I receive and not just like instantly deflect back to somebody and like really allow me to soak in any compliment or whatever that they give me, or questions that they have for me. I feel like I'm constantly like, and it goes back to like my psychology, my natural curious mind. I'm like always asking other people questions, and I can go have a whole conversation with somebody where like they just talk about them, and I'm fine with that. I'm so fine with that. Um, but that's not what I deserve. I deserve to also take up space, and I deserve to also tell my story and to share my own um, experiences. And that has to do with receptivity, my girl. Number 3, gratitude your attitude. Gratitude your attitude. It kind of is in line with a lot of what I was just saying in the second one. I mean, the more that we are able to receive and the more that we are able to be thankful in Jesus' name, thankful in the Lord's name, thankful in the name of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit, thankful in the name of creation. We were all created, period. That's something we can all agree on, right? We were all created. So if we can be thankful to what and who and how we've been created and to how we are able to experience life in the way that we experience it, the more that we're able to tap into that gratitude, the more that we're able to experience more things of that nature. Gratitude, your attitude. I mean, there's so much science and studies and talking about how gratitude practices, like practicing gratitude um, habitually is healing. Like it's actually and physically, literally, mentally, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually healing. It's healing, man. How you're sending, that's how you manifest more. You need to communicate with the creator. As a co-creator, we need to be in commune. And when the way that the divine communicates with us is through emotions, is through um, bodily experiences. Like, ooh, this feels exciting. This feels, I feel fired up a little bit. Like, I really just feel myself. I feel authentic while doing this. Or it can feel like, I feel like shrinking myself. I feel this pit in my stomach. Um, I feel a headache. I get headaches a lot when something is just giving me the wrong thing, or I get caught up here. My throat chakra like literally closes up. So pay attention to those things. That's how the divine is communicating with you. And then how we communicate back with the divine is with gratitude by saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this. And then not only with gratitude, but action. You can't just say thank you and then not do anything about it. Or you can't just say, okay, that's great, and then just, you know what I mean? Like you have to actually act on these desires that has been given to you by the divine. You have to actually act on these feelings of that doesn't feel right, that is given to you by the divine. Or else, why would the divine keep sending the messages? If you're not going to take it into consideration, why would the divine, like, okay, We tried. You can free will, do what you want. But if you want to have that synergy, if you want to have that communication, if you want to follow the path of least resistance and be swimming downstream rather than upstream, then you have to communicate. You have to stay in constant, consistent communication. And one of the biggest ways to do that is to gratitude your attitude and to put things into motion. Actually take action steps towards your feelings. Don't just allow them to just sit there and fester. Do something with it. Okay, number 4 is not a matter of if, but when. And even that's not up to me. Or at least it's not up to my physical mind, my physical experience, which I had chosen to do by coming here. I kind of touched upon this a lot, actually, in like my first point, I think, talking about divine timing. I'm not going to be too repetitive about that. But it's really, really important to um, remember that things are already, everything that is already is. And although we are physically experiencing time in a continuum, that's actually not all that there is. You know, there's also the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, and Most High, our higher intelligence that has access to the Most High because it is created from it, as well as we are created from it physically. So we have access to it as well. We just have to intentionally and consciously tap into it. The Most High experiences time as timeless. There is no time. It's all that is, right? For example, right now I'm working at Vanderbilt. I have a full-time job, and I'm blessed with a job at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. I, at one point, was unemployed, and I was looking for a job. And although I did not have a job at that moment, there was a part of me that was already working at Vanderbilt, that already had this job secured. It was a matter of me tapping into that and following these inklings that I had and these just little breadcrumbs of passion, of excitement that led me here to this beautifully aligned job that moves my career forward and compensates me and gives me the time and the freedom and the space to also do creative things and choose my own hours, basically. Um, so yeah, of course I still got stuck in ruts and was like, oh, 2 master's degrees in, and none of y'all want to hire me for a decent pay? Like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? What was it all for? All that stuff. But it really took a matter of reeling myself back in, coming back into my body, and remembering that that's not up to me in this physical body. Otherwise, I wouldn't have chosen to come here and be a physical being that doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. I wanted to experience. I wanted to experience all of it, all of it. Um, and that involves the areas of time where I technically, don't physically see and have what I know that I deserve. Even just the way that I got this job, this opportunity was so divine, the way everything just aligned. This wasn't even the job that I interviewed for, but this one is way more aligned than the one that I did. I interviewed for another job at VUMC and got like referred over here basically. Um, and I got a couple other offers and like some other, opportunities, of course, kept popping up, but this one just felt easeful. And at one point, I was praying. I was like, God, you need to just take away one of these opportunities from me. Like, I need a sign. I need a, hey, this is not the one that we want for you, so I can feel at peace with my decision. And that's exactly what happened. An opportunity was quite literally not taken from me, but like very obviously, like, okay, I'm not doing that. um, and I ended up here, and I love my not only my job but my living situation, which also happened in a very serendipitous way because I moved to a city where I didn't know nobody, and I've been kind of doing that. I've uprooted quite a bit. I went from Boston to Jersey to Rhode Island to Dallas to DC, and now I'm in Nashville. So uprooting is something that I've talked about and worked through a lot in therapy as to like what that has done to my psyche and like my comfort in my relationships and like being able to put my shoulders down, and also the way it somehow does feel natural for me and like exciting for me. Like I feed off of new environments and new energies and new beginnings. Um, but yeah, it all just happened in such a serendipitous and beautiful way. And I truly do, I know that it's because I, in my core, I trust. I trust. I trust. And of course, at the surface, I still have those doubts and I still have those, like, like, why isn't this happening yet? Like, but that's okay. It's okay that I have those thoughts. It just makes me human. That's the point. But that I don't have to subscribe to that. I don't have to believe. I don't have to put my value and my worth in those thoughts. I can acknowledge them as thoughts and then move on and then pivot and then reframe. Really that simple. It really is that simple. Um, but yeah, I'm not in a rush, man. Like I do plan on still getting a terminal degree, whether that'll be a PhD or medical school or DO school or naturopathic school. Lord knows. Literally, Lord knows. But that's fine. That's not, like I said, it's not for me to figure out. At least not right now. It's not my business. Knowing something is just not your business. You know what I'm saying? Knowing something is just not your business. Like this little person sitting on the beach with a fishing rod, minding his business, minding his own or their own. Um, I'm gonna mind mine. Hopefully, you can mind yours. I also have Serena Page, Virgo inspo, written down here. Um, she is a Virgo and she is an inspiration of mine. I don't know why I wrote her down though for this point, but when Serena Page, shit, I don't know if she's talked about this before in an interview in relation to like finding love, standing on business with Cordell, but also having the bravery to be soft and trust um, that everyone at least deserves one get out of jail free card, or if I'm referring to like her fame, I guess, and like the way it came to her and the way she's been able to like capitalize off it in such a beautiful way because she was prepared. Um, Opportunity meets preparation. I think it was Victoria Monet or Coco Jones or Doechii maybe. One of them, black beautiful ladies, talked about how like when it's a slow rise, obviously there are moments of frustration and moments of like, ugh, when? Um, but just keep preparing, keep working at it. There's a reason why it's not happening yet. There's a reason why this is the way it is right now. The present moment is what you have. Work with it. Work with it. Work towards it. Um, Show up in ways that you would still show up when you eventually get that thing in the physical material world. Um, when opportunity meets preparation, greatness happens or excellence happens. That's like kind of what the quote says. Yay, that's cute. I love vision boards, man. I'm too visually oriented to not be doing this for myself. I didn't make one last year for 2024. Never doing that again. Has this been covering my mic the whole time? Whatever, man. I remember days when I was like, 19, 20, um, when I was like the most active on YouTube, posting 4 to 5 times a week, every day, all that stuff. Um, I would be so my schedule was like I was a student studying psychology, so I'd be in class. I would go do my homework straight away, so I would have time to I would like do my homework like while I'm eating dinner. You know what I mean? Like I would be disciplined about doing homework right after class, so I'd have time to record covers for like 2-3 hours after class, and then be able to go to sleep and wake up the next day for class. But every time I would be crying myself to sleep for weeks, like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Among a surplus of other things, like this was a heavy time in my life. Addition of like not feeling like I was where I was supposed to be, which is Never the case. You're always where you're meant to be. But I felt like I was supposed to be on stage. I was supposed to be touring. I was supposed to be in the studio. I was like, well, what am I doing here? Even though I loved what I was learning, but I was still like so upset. It felt like I needed to be out there talking to people, connecting with people, singing with people, making music, all these things, creating, dancing. And like now in hindsight, that girl would not have made it. If I had a spotlight on me, if I had even thousands of people, let alone hundreds of thousands or millions, like if I had eyes on me like that, I would have crumbled. I would have crumbled. I did not have the foundation, I did not have the support that I do now, where I feel ready and prepared for um, the platform that I know God is blessing me with. Because I know I'm meant to reach people and I know I'm meant to inspire people in a grand capacity. So I was just like, why is that not happening? Like I felt it. I was like, this is just supposed to be the way it is. But I was just projecting um, a future me onto a present me, which doesn't make sense. It's not what the physical mind is meant to say. It's not what the physical mind is meant to do, as I've said multiple times already. Um, and I was just crying. Like, girl, not what's meant right now. It's not what's meant right now. Enjoy the present. Enjoy the present. Enjoy the present. Because there were so many beautiful experiences that I had in college that I feel like I didn't really get to fully enjoy because I was always thinking like, oh, this is not where I'm supposed to be. You know, when I transferred and left all my close friends and like was forced to move a lot sooner than I would have wanted to, I again felt like, oh, why me? Why me? Why me? Why now? Ugh. Like, girl, please trust. So, the fifth and final life realization that I am implementing is committing to the structure and curation of my environment for me, and designing the structure for my environment for me, for my authentic way of life, for my unique, authentic, creative expression. We all vibrate at a certain frequency. Energy is real. One thing that we can all agree on, physicists, quantum physicists, regular physicists. Oh my gosh, I've never seen that word again. Um, Scientists, neurologists, psychologists. Energy is real. We are energy. Our atoms are vibrating constantly at whatever frequency. We are energy. We all have a unique frequency, just like how purple has a unique frequency, and red has a unique frequency, and yellow has a unique frequency. Each of us as individuals, have a unique frequency. There are things that can elevate your vibration, just like as there are things that can lower your vibration. You can test that out. You can experiment with that all the time. If we feel it, the ways in which where our frequency is at, although we have a unique frequency, we're not always at that frequency. I mean, like our unique, authentic frequency, that's what we're shooting for. That's our pinnacle. That's our best. We want to perform, but you can't always be at your best. It's not possible. That's what we're constantly shooting for, right? Um, and the things that bring us closer and that raise our vibration closest to that frequency, those are the things that align with our spirit. As we're shooting for that, as we're striving for that, we have to remember that the universe, that God, the creator, the most high, wants us at that frequency, because that's our best. God wants us at your best. God, the universe wants to support you. The universe does support you. The universe always supports you. That's why whatever you think happens. Because it's like, okay, that's what you think. Yeah, sure. Or yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Like whatever you think, whatever you believe is gonna manifest in front of you. The universe supports you and loves you so unconditionally much that it will support you in creating whatever it is you wish, or whatever it is you are acting to create. The ways in which that the universe, the ways in which that God, the ways in which that the creator communicates with us, um, like I said earlier, is through our bodily experiences. So we know when something is increasing our vibration or lowering our vibration. We have that intelligence. Whether or not you choose to listen to it, that's up to you. But when things are exciting, when things are feel like it just feels right. It just feels passionate. It just feels like it just feels good. It just feels right. Those are increasing your vibration. That's raising your vibration. You're getting up there. Things that do the complete opposite, feel the complete opposite, and don't feel as good, don't feel, you feel drained, you feel whatever it is. Um, those are lowering your vibrations. It's not always about this lowers your vibration, this increases your vibration. Sometimes the intent and the context into which these things matter, because these material things, these substances, whatever it is, even if it is like an actual substance or an activity, whatever it is that you're using to either increase or lower your vibration, that in and of itself is not increasing or lowering your vibration. It's that in addition to your intention, into your mindset, into your context, into what you're using it for. It goes back into your attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, oh, for example, cannabis. I'm an active weed user. Not right now, I'm sober, but I'm pro cannabis and pro really anything that grows from the ground and that God has given us. Um, but that's not always going to heighten and increase my vibration if the intention isn't there, if I'm not in the right headspace, I'm not in the right context, if I'm using it as, if I'm depending on it to make my anxiety go away or to just make me feel good. Da, da, da. Like, those things are guides, those things are tools, those things give me permission slips to cultivate that stuff in myself. And so eventually I realized I don't need that. I don't need that to feel good. I don't need that. Da, 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 you know? Um, but, there's certain things like, drinking water every day or like, taking care of my hygiene. Like, those are just like non-negotiables that I literally am dependent on, and that's okay to be dependent on. Alcohol, for example, like another thing. Like I said, I'm sober right now, but like alcohol definitely in and of itself, for the most part, does decrease your vibration. But like, hey, sometimes it's nice to have a good time. And if I'm intentional and I'm, drinking when I'm, just for the sake of celebration, and my friends and I or my family and I were on a high and like, yeah, like let's toast, let's have a good time. I'm not gonna hold myself to that and like refuse to drink because I don't want to lower my vibration. Like, no. But if I had a really shitty day and I feel like I need to crack open a beer. I don't really drink beer like that, but like if I needed to like pour myself a glass of wine or some champagne or some tequila, even, I've never really done anything other than wine after like just like on my own. But if I'm just doing that to like fill a void or to like avoid my feelings, it's gonna lower my vibration way more so than if it would if I'm like genuinely, accomplish something huge and want to take the edge off with some of my friends and my family. Like, that's, you see how those are different. Like, you can't compare apples to oranges. And the substance or the activity in and of itself is not going to increase or lower your vibration. It's that in addition to whatever is going on around you. I'm talking about curating my life for me in each and every present moment. It's about making those choices every day and every moment. Is this what I need to increase my vibration? Is this what I need to at least stay at the vibration I'm at? Is this what I need? Or is this going to lower my vibration substantially? you know? Um, and there are certain ways, certain environments that I've realized does not work for me. It's really, really tough for me to stay high vibrational when I'm living at home, for example. Um, I'm very family oriented. Don't get it twisted. I love my family down bad. So grateful for those people um, who literally give me everything so much of the time. A lot of that stagnant energy is very much still in that house. So as much as I love going home and visiting, living there is really, 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 really tough for me. And I try to avoid it. I think that's another reason why it was really tough for me, like while I was looking for a job, as grateful as I was to at least like have a place where I could just stay and live for free. Um, it was not going to work for me long term. Like, I needed to They need to get out of there. And every time I heard a suggestion of like, why don't you just get a job around here? I won't survive. I literally would not survive. It's important to build the routine that you need to feel good and to feel your best and actually stick to it. But at the same time, be flexible with it in terms of like, you're always changing and growing and evolving, you know? Um, don't stick to it at the expense of yourself. Allow the feelings to freely process whatever the feeling is, allow the feeling to freely process and grant yourself permission to have the autonomy and the power and the control to decide where that feeling is going to go or where you're going to go with that feeling in mind, where you're going to go, the direction that you're going to go. That's a caveat about surrendering. You have to surrender. Yes, like we're surrendering to the Most High, to divine timing, all that stuff, but really we're surrendering as a co-creator. We are surrendering to the control that already exists within us. We are surrendering to the autonomy, to the power that we have to co-create this life and watch it unfold in front of us in the present moment, in each and every present moment. At the bottom of this notes page, I also have like some I don't want to call them goals, but intentions that I have for the new year. Being disciplined about connecting with my loved ones. So I intend to make a random generator with like a pool of all the names of those who I care to really stay in close contact with, friends, family, all that. And I have a scheduled time in my calendar for when I'm gonna FaceTime and then call them. I've been already like FaceTime and calling people at that time, but I haven't put in the labor of like throwing everyone's names in a generator. Because hello, like keeping up with adult connections, keeping up with connections as an adult is a task. Like, and you really have to be intentional about it, and um, you really have to. So as much as I am disciplined about showing up for myself, and I am, especially, um, nowadays I really am intentional about that and disciplined with that. I don't play about me in my own time, in my own space, in my own energy. I want to do the same and pour from the overflow and, you know, give when I can. And if I don't feel like I have the energy, if I don't feel like I'm on the overflow to call someone, then I'll just reschedule and do it another time. But like, at least I have it in mind to do it. Fill my heart with sweet romance. Definitely gonna use that. I can fill my own heart with sweet romance, by the way. One thing about me is I love February. I love a month dedicated to love, our holiday dedicated to love. Um, love of all forms. I'm gonna romance myself as much as I deserve to be romanced by others, and I deserve to romance others. I'm going to romance myself. I love February. I love Black History. I love February. Just man, it fills me up. I love twos. Two. My favorite day of the year is in February. I feel the most aligned with spirit in February. It's an amethyst season, so I think that contributes to that. And obviously, I'm a Pisces, so I may be biased in saying I'm sure there was a time where, I used to be very sensitive. I still kind of am sensitive about my birthday, but I used to be very much like, ugh. About my birthday, I felt like nobody really cared, especially because it was in the winter. But, I'm a spring baby at heart, honestly. I'm spring's child. I'm a February baby, but I'm spring's child. I just love this time of year. Even if my birthday wasn't in February, I really feel like I would still love February so much. Another thing, speaking of community and like connections, another thing I wrote down, I don't feel the need to cut people off unless they're detrimental to me. Otherwise, you'll simply just move to another compartment. Love I've given to you is yours to keep. So heavy on this, heavy on just shifting people to other compartments. I used to get so caught up about like, oh, like I think this was like one of my um um, missions to work through as a Scorpio moon um, is overcoming all or nothing thinking. And it notoriously has taken me a lot to cut somebody off, but I would be very like firm about it. Like I would give people chances, but like once you're done, once you've done something that I just can't get past, I'm goodbye. I've been mean about it. I've been rude about it. I've been disrespectful about it. And as I'm growing and maturing, um, that's just energy I don't need to enforce. I don't need to take in the time to over explain myself, over explain myself. Um, it's really okay because like the best connections, of course, require work, but it's easeful work. It's work that feels necessary and gentle and loving versus like forceful. Um, and the connections that are meant to stay will stay. I'm not here to force anything. And yeah, it's so important for me to like remind myself that like it's okay to have different friends and just different connections for different things. And that doesn't mean that I love them any less or I love them or they love me any less just because I've shifted them in their compartment. Like if something doesn't resonate with someone that but this is something that we used to talk about all the time, but this is something that we used to be able to do all the time. We're not doing it anymore. I don't need to force that to be able to keep that connection. I don't need to force it to keep happening. I can simply just say, okay, this is not where we're meant right now. And I've just like noted that and I've compartmentalized that and I've got it. And maybe I'll be able to find that in another person, or maybe I'm just meant to cultivate that within myself and be satisfied with that and be happy with that. And that was just my permission slip. That was my guide. That was my reminder that I am able to feel that and I am worthy of feeling that. And now that I've learned it and experienced it, maybe that's why, for whatever reason, it's not working for us anymore. And I'm just meant to cultivate that within myself now. I feel like as much as the world around us is our mirror, relationships are 100% our mirror. Relationships are meant to be a mirror. People are meant to reflect back to us what we feel about ourselves and what we see in ourselves. Um, or sometimes what we don't consciously see, we only subconsciously see it. So people are meant to like bring that to light. It's a huge, huge, huge thing that I do in relationships for people a lot, and why like a lot of times I've gotten the whole like you're too much or this is too much. Like I've gotten that feedback quite a bit from people, and I used to internalize it bad. Um, but I've realized that it's way more about them than it is about me, and not even in a bad way. It's just a simple fact of like I really do. It's a projector thing as well. Like I really do pierce through a lot of like the bullshit and like understand people oftentimes a lot deeper than they understand themselves, and some people are just uncomfortable with that very quickly. Or sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to get comfortable with it. But matter of fact, like it's not my business. It's not my. I'm. It's not my place to force somebody to confront themselves before they're ready. I've learned to make peace with. I can't. I'm not gonna force anybody to need me or to want me in their life. Like, hello, the fuck I look like. So that's been huge for me and really helpful. Um, I love that I have these like music sheets. What? Sheet music? Oh my god. I've never done this on a vision board before. It's usually just like pictures that I print out. So just in general, the fact that I'm like doing like collections of old things. I thought I was going to print out at least some things on my own, but this looks so great with just things that I've collected from the reuse store. I have so much that I want to create, and like come on here and talk about. But like, I'm not even sure how much I'll be singing because I'm just so excited to make these like talking videos. And I enjoy editing them more now that I have like the time and the energy to, since I'm not like a student anymore with exams to study for at all times and papers to write at all times. Another intention I wrote down is it'd be nice to have something that I do every day for a whole year. Wow, I kind of already fallen off on that a bit, haven't I? Because even something like Duolingo, I almost have a 100-day streak on Duolingo right now, but that's fake because there are freezes that I've used. You know, I try not to use them as much as possible, but like, and I'm now um, counting my meditation on Insight Timer. I use Insight Timer to meditate. I would have before. I was just using a regular timer and just meditating on my own. But Insight Timer, I highly recommend. It's a really nice meditation app, and it counts consecutive days. And I think I got up to like 20 something, and then even that, if you miss a day, well, if you miss a day, you also have a way to kind of like skip it, but you can only miss one day. It's not like Duo where like they have like streak freezes that just keep coming. I mean, like there's things like even like hygiene. Like I'm sure there's been a day where I haven't like brushed my teeth where I should have, or I didn't shower where I should have. Like I feel like there's nothing that I generally do every day except like get up, which is great. That's enough. Um, but sometimes I don't get up till like 4 p.m. But still, at least I got up. I feel like I talk to God, talk to Spirit every day, even if it's not like sitting down to meditate. I really do feel like I do at this point in my life. Whether it's like seeing angel numbers, moments of gratitude, journaling is something I've been pretty disciplined about too. I really want to make a separate video on like sobriety and like cutting out my vices because it's not just like drinking and smoking I've cut out. I've been pretty there's just like certain vices I've cut out of my life, and I've been pretty intentional about it. And I want to talk about that experience. It was like an essence of dry January, but like now that January is over, I don't really feel like participating again. But yeah, I want to make videos on Friday. I want to make devices. I want to make a video on The Good Place, which I have just finished. If you watch The Good Place, if you're watching this video and you're looking for a show recommendation, watch The Good Place. You'll like it. You'll love it. You will love it. And I'm gonna be doing a whole series. Actually, I want to do a series on Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then like talk about the lessons from each episode. I wish I did this with The Good Place, but I already ran through it. But I will kind of do a breakdown of the show. Maybe I might break that into like 4 different videos. I don't know, a few different videos at least, because I feel like I have a lot to talk about over that. But Avatar: The Last Airbender, I've never seen. Which, what the heck? If you know me, like that's a show that I know I'd love. I just never came around to watching it, and I know I'm gonna love it. And I got this idea on TikTok, or maybe it was Instagram Reels, someone being like, every time you watch an episode, reflect, journal about what you've learned, because like, yes, it's a kid's show, but it teaches such valuable lessons, and I love shit like that. I'm probably gonna do a whole series on that. Maybe like every video will be like me talking about like 3 different episodes or something like that. I want to be stretching as much as I can, moving my body as much as I can. Stretching has been like life changing for me, kind of like in a way where people talk about how breath work is life changing for them. Breath work is something I love when I do it, but it's not something I could commit to doing every day. I don't know. At least I haven't been able to. I don't want to say never, but stretching, oh my gosh. I think it's because like my physical body is something like I'm very spiritually inclined, as you can tell. When it comes to mind, body, spirit, like I'm very spirit heavy. My mind is racing often, but like I tend to be able to calm it down. I feel like that's why I don't lean towards breath work. I feel like breath work are people who are very like mind, like constantly. I'm not really like that. Like I think I have tendencies of that I got from my mom, but like I, but my body, oh my god, my root chakra tends to be inactive, and yeah, I tend to just be in ooh, la la land very often. I'm a dreamer, and I love that about me. But at the same time, I need to ground into this human life form. And stretching, moving my body, dancing, movement, free movement is a beautiful way for me to do that. And, it doesn't hurt to become more flexible. So I'm not going to show my final vision board. I'm not going to be posting it just because I want to be protecting of my vision and of my dreams, and just be more intentional about who I do choose to share them with. Because the evil eye is real, and not everybody wants what I want. And that's okay. But y'all gonna see it happen when it happens. That's for sure. Keep shining, shine your light. The huge affirmation I keep getting again and again. Oh, I also want to get plants in here, like real life plants. I'm looking across the street right now, and somebody in their window has a beautiful plant that I'm admiring. But I want to challenge myself to tender and care for a plant. Especially since I don't have my cat with me, and she's staying with my sister right now. But I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. And every single prayer that I said at the beginning of this video, I truly did mean, and I felt it with my heart. I'm happy that you're here. Not just watching my video, but I'm just happy that you're here, period. And I'm proud of you for choosing this experience and for continuing to show up despite any setbacks, any roadblocks that are actually really just meant to help you anyways. Everything that's sent to you is meant for you and is for the greater good. You really truly have to believe that. To be joyful, to be happy, to keep moving forward, That's so cute. I love this board, man. I love myself. I love my spirit. I love my body. I love my mind. I love the sweet little life that I am curating day after day, moment after moment. Yay! Okay, it's done. Oh my gosh. So beautiful. Wow. Well, actually, I still have a bow and like this ribbon. I don't have much glue left. Actually, I just have the perfect amount. See how things just work out when you're online? When you trust. Keep trusting. Keep communicating. Keep allowing yourself to communicate. Keep listening. Keep tuning in to your heart. Your heart is your wisest guide. I love you and I'm proud of you. Please come back next time. Please like this video. Please comment down below if anything resonated. Please subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you again. And sending out so much love, peace, light, allowance, gratitude, permission slips. Grant yourself permission to be exactly as you are. Wow, did that just end too? Look at God. All right, y'all. Have a good one. I love you. Mwah.